And good evening, everybody. James Bishop here. Want to do audio check. If you guys could hear me, go ahead and type in yes in that chat box. Let me know you can hear me. PJ, we're always live. Always, always, always live. So, let's see. Joe, reach out to the team on Monday. This is not the arena for that. This has no affiliation with that, right? This is something I solo do all on my own. All right. Sharon, good to see you. Ralph, thank you so much. Doug, good. Joe, thank you so much. Good evening to you. All right. Well, fantastic to have you guys all here today. We got a lot that we're going to cover. We had a lot that came out over the past couple of days. So let's jump on in. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on one second. So let's get into it. All right, perfect. Forgot what this webinar is to cover. Well, Wayne, good to go. You're gonna love this one, right? So today, guys, really quickly, I gotta disclaim the disclaimer. Trading has risks. Understand that risk. Be willing to accept that risk. Take on that risk. All of the above. Take your trades, evaluate your trades. You're doing so, of and on your own volition as well. Um, and Aberdeen, good to see you here, John. And next time I am in Scotland, I will definitely be reaching out. I love that country. My wife and I keep talking about maybe we'll just move to Scotland, is what we keep talking about because I absolutely love the country. The only thing I could not stand is the four-letter word that you guys have over there. I mean, it's just the most foul word in the English language. It's called cold. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's like that's the worst word in the English language. I don't do that mess. I don't do that mess. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. All right, sorry. Now, yeah, wind and chill. That's the other two. Yep, I don't mind wind. I can play golf and wind. Aren't you MN or something? What is MN? No. Oh, Minnesota? Absolutely not. You absolutely not. Yes, Tyson, who you're thinking of. I was born in North Carolina, and then at 3 months old, we moved to Okinawa, Japan. My mom is from Guyana, which is a country in South America. It's a Caribbean nation, and so yeah, no, I've never been to Minnesota. Haven't stepped foot in Minnesota. No, I look. I got a glass of water on my desk, and it ain't got a lick of ice in it, if you know what I mean. So, look, today is the Sunday session. For those that don't know, this is not like your regular webinar. I'm not. We don't. There's no pitching. There's no products being shown. This is purely analysis and trading and what I normally do on my Sundays when I go through the market. Okay. Is this anybody's first Sunday session? Type in a wire yes if it is. Type in a wire yes if it is. Dan, good to see you. Kanal, Lisa, Bill. Fantastic. For those that don't know me and Val, you as well. Thanks for being here. Jess, thank you as well. Carrie, I'm gonna get you promoted here, okay? Just make sure microphone and camera and all that are off. So let me promote you, Carrie. Um, oh wait, not sorry, Carrie, not you. Don't accept that. Hold on. Not wrong, Carrie. Sorry about that, Carrie. Just ignore that. So for those that don't know me, my name is James Bishop. I've been in trading and trading education for 17 plus years. I'm the co-founder of a managed fund where we do individually managed accounts, which right now is up nicely this month and last month. I have my MBA in finance and global portfolio management and working on my doctorate in finance and economics as well. For those of you that don't know who I am, now I will talk today about some retirement estate planning things, some ways you can save money, some ways you can build wealth, things like that. I do have a hard stop at 8 o'clock, a very hard stop at 8 o'clock because I'm speaking in my next at the 8 o'clock presentation that I'm doing, and that's nothing to do with anything. It's a different meeting as well. So quick couple of housekeeping items. We have Wealth Watch and the Discord. So Wealth Watch is one of my newsletters. If you are not subscribed, I'm actually going to open up two of them for you because I want to make sure that we continue to keep growing our subscriber base. These are videos, daily videos that come out, as well as other special invites. You also get an ebook with my top 10 fundamental playbook. And what these do is we look at the top 10 fundamentals that come out every month. We tell you how to trade them, what to trade, what to look for, all of that. So subscribe to the Wealth Watch. And then here is, and I just sent that to myself. I need to send that to everybody else. This is the Wealth Watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. And then Energy Watch, okay, Energy Watch, Command C and Command V. There we go. Energy Watch is specifically focused around nuclear energy, renewable energy, oil, natural gas, uranium, all things to do with the energy sector is what we talk about. Funny enough, on Friday, whatever Friday was, what's that, 17th, I believe it was. I did a report on oil and talked about what happens, what I can foresee happening with oil, and it's probably going to come to fruition here this week. So let's see. Yeah, I have my clock right up here in the corner, so I'll catch that. So subscribe to those two, and then the other thing that we have is a Discord. Okay, so there's a Discord server. I'll share it with you. Right. I'm going to copy this. So you only get, let me tell you this. I don't know why Discord does it this way, but Discord does it this way. You get 7 days to join the server with this link. And once you join, you're there. You're in it for life. You don't got to rejoin. But if you don't join and that link expires, it expires, right? It expires. So go ahead and click on that and join the server if you would like to. Look, you can chime in with anything you want to do with trading, right? I was talking to this individual the other day. She sent me this and I said, wow, this is really, really good. I actually have something like this for myself. And this is around, kind of the SpaceX IPO and the tailwind that companies could be investing in and what they're looking for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I have this same exact list, and I was like, this is just a way cleaner looking presentation of it. So share it online, and so she did. And so that's up there. I have Stu that shares, his trading stuff. I have Stu that was, I shared this piece of news on April 18th when Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again as the ceasefire near its ended. And then we talked a little bit about that, talking a little bit about EVs, right? So this is just a great forum to reach out, get help, ask questions, and be a part of overall. Okay. So join that Discord as well. Sometimes he posted some stuff there as well, asking for a password. You have to sign in to Discord. So John, you need to join Discord, log in as yourself, and then when you use the link, you'll be able to join the session there. Okay, that's all you got to do there. So with that, let's go through a couple of things. We have some major fundamental news announcements coming out. We have existing home sales, manufacturing PMI services as well. Manufacturing and services PMI. I said that one with that Lex Dixia. I'll tell you that. US GDP announcement, Q1 estimate. Initial jobless claims coming out. Ramel, good to see you. PCE price index coming out as well. And we have personal income and spending and revised consumer sentiment. So these announcements, and we're going to look at a couple here on the good old Forex Factory. This is a free website. I tell people to use it all the time. I've been using it for a number of years. You know, it's just good at what it does, right? So good at what it does. So, like we said, right, core retail sales coming out this week. We have ending home sales and existing home sales coming out this week. We have unemployment claims, manufacturing PMI, consumer sentiment. Should have had, or maybe that is coming out next week. Yeah. Next week, we have FOMC happening, GDP and PCE. Sorry, I kind of was blending 2 weeks together when I was looking, when I created this. So just know some of those are on the 30th. So don't screenshot that if you don't want to. But we have some that are going to be next week as well on there. So because, you know, FOMC is going to be a big one for us, definitely coming up on the 29th. The other thing that we have is we have a whole host of companies coming out with earnings. Halliburton, Procter & Gamble, Pepsi, NextEra Energy, Visa, AT&T, Boeing, Tesla, Meta, QuantumScape, Blackstone, Microsoft, Google, Exxon, Chevron, American Express, and Charter Communication as well. Screenshot that if you want to, and somebody can post it on the Discord server if they would like, or you can just have that. Type in done when you have it screenshotted. Type in done when you have it screenshotted as well. And all right, beautiful. Thank you guys. I'm going to get signed into one thing really quickly. And hopefully, verification code. I'm getting signed into a tool called FactSet as well. Now, for those of you in here, don't go out and buy FactSet. The only reason I have this is because of the amount of assets we have under management. It's $5,000 a month. You don't really need it that much because you got me. So we'll go through some of this here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So Iran reclosed the Strait of Hormuz. We talked about that. U.S. is sending Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner back to Pakistan for negotiations. Trump again threatens to hit the bridges and power plants if no deal is made. Peace deal with Iran will happen one way or the other. Navy using sea drones to help clear mines from Strait of Hormuz. I will tell you that Iran fired on, I think it was a French Navy vessel, as it was trying to come through the Straits of Hormuz as well. So that's obviously dominating news. There's a couple other things that I want to talk about. Let's see. Anthropic had a productive Friday meeting. China raising money for the first time for DeepSeek at a $10 billion valuation. U.S. Energy Secretary says gas prices may remain above $3 a gallon until next year. Yeah, I'll tell you this. The Department of Energy came out with a forecast for gas prices. It has it $4 all the way, $4 or higher all the way until the end of 2027. Right? Let me just say that again. $4 or higher all the way to the end of 2027. Right? That is something right there as well. So that's coming out. So $4.96 here, $5 in Hawaii. Honestly, I think it was like, now granted, my wife's car takes premium, so it was like $5 and something, whatever. But she only uses it to and from work. So, that's whatever. And then I have a Tesla right now. Look, I bought a Tesla not because I was saving the environment, but because there's 0 to 60 in like 3.1, 2.9 or 3.1 seconds. I don't know. I got some performance edition and I only paid $230 a month for it on a lease. I charged it the other day and it was a whopping $7.79. Okay. You couldn't get a spit of gas for $7 and 79 cents there. Let's see, $6 a gallon for regular and SoCal. See, guys, it's let's see. Yeah, some places pay more than that. That's because they don't subsidize it the way we do. And, different countries, different emphasis, right? As well. But one of the things I want to talk about here today is actually diesel prices. Okay. Oh, no, 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 no. I live in Orlando. So, and I know the times to leave, where I'm going to get where I need to be quick enough. So, the one of the things I want to talk about is there's been a lot of talks that there are like hundreds of ships coming to the US for oil, refined oil, gasoline, oil for polymers, diesel, and things like that. How many of you guys in here understand that, have heard that news? Yes or no? Heard it. Okay, good, good, good. So there's a bunch of countries sending ships to the US to fill up on diesel, jet fuel, oil, refined oil, all sorts of different things, right? So because their countries are running out of jet fuel and running out of diesel. Well, diesel is kept naturally higher because we export a lot of diesel. It's a byproduct of refining of gasoline. And so it's fairly inexpensive to produce, but because we produce so much of it, we are able to export it for a really, really, really good price compared to the cost of production. Now, it also factors into farming and trucking and all of that as well. Well, think about this, guys. If we're selling, if all of these ships are coming and they deplete our diesel supply lower, let's think about it through it. So if supply drops and demand, even local demand stays the same, what does price do? Go up. So somebody, anybody, tell me probably the two most important industries that diesel prices will affect. Trucking, and farming. Absolutely. Farming and trucking. Now, if diesel prices go up and farmers are already having short supply of fertilizer, and then you raise the cost of diesel, and then on top of that, you have they all over the increased cost of tariffs that have impacted the farming industry and those various other things. What do you think happens to our food supply? Food prices go up. Guys, this is something that's serious. Okay. I'm just telling you guys right now. I'm not saying that that will happen because look, with the way things shake out here, I'm just saying, this is like the hokey pokey. Like this thing is just getting turned all upside down and quick, fast, in a hurry. Right. So who knows, right? If we get, if this thing ends on Monday, phenomenal. Maybe all of this doesn't happen. If it doesn't end on Monday, actually, let me just say it. Let me be real with you guys. I do believe that no matter what, we're going to see increased costs of food and fuel and travel and trucking and shipping, because any good that has to move anywhere in this country is going to be shipped, or at some point it will be put onto a vehicle that has a diesel engine into it. Right? At some point, there will be. And that's going to drive cost way up because they're not going to keep eating costs, right? They're not going to keep eating costs. It's just not going to happen, right? It does. Ramel, diesel has been subsidized forever. Farming has been subsidized forever. And there are, somebody said Trump is Trump is subsidizing farming. The problem with that is that there are more farmers last year, in the first year of last year, because of tariffs and stuff, more farmers have filed for bankruptcy than the previous 8 years prior. Folks, this is like when I do deep dive economics, it's deep dive economics, because I want to know, right, the bullwhip effect, right? We're going to feel it on our end, but I want to know what's happening over here. What's the little wave that happens here that causes this move right here and causes markets to go crazy? So I'm not telling you that the stock market is going to go down. I'm not telling you that I still feel the same feeling that I felt this entire time. And I will reiterate my position for 2 years standing: a Main Street recession with a Wall Street boom. Dan, they're going generally to the Port of Houston, Port of Miami, as well as California, I believe. Wes, it's actually exactly the plan. The VP owns a company that buys farmland out of bankruptcy. So good call there, Wes. So right, you have like this looming thing. What I don't want you to do, and last week, I was talking about nitrogen, or not nitrogen, helium, and somebody said I expected this to fall because of what you said about helium. Well, guys, it's not going to be effective immediately. It's not like, oh wow, he said it's happening. I'm telling you what's going to happen 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now. Right? It's not like, hey, this happens tomorrow. Okay. Oh, Mark, I agree with you. I'm not saying that, but I just can't vocalize that across, this platform. But yes, I understand. I totally understand what you're saying there, Mark. So, guys, just be aware of what to expect coming up. Prepare yourself, right? And one of the things I do is I help people protect their retirement, protect their investments, protect their wealth, so that I have things that we can help you invest in that mean you never lose a penny of what you have, that gives you tax-free growth. And I don't mean tax deferred, I mean tax-free growth. It'll protect. You can roll a 401k into it. You can use it with your current investment account. There's so many different avenues that I have that could help some, individuals like you, that at the end of this, I'll have, actually, you know what, if you guys want to, if you guys are interested in learning more about this, I'm going to have a couple of my agents help set up appointments with me over the next couple of weeks. So what I want you to do is just type in your phone number. Okay. Just type in your phone number. If you want to learn more about the type of investments and what it's like working with me, and the investments that you can invest in where it's risk, where you have a 0% floor, where you have tax-free retirement, guaranteed income, the ability to protect your wealth, or if you have, there is a minimum with my fund, but I'll tell you, let me just say this. Here, let me do this. There we go. Maybe it's in one of my emails. I don't know, but something like 9% return this month, this past month. So if you want to find out more information about that and how to do that, let's do that. All you need to do is make sure and ensure I have your phone number, and I will. Yeah, Alton, I do, but my biggest problem right now is I haven't updated my personal calendar, so I don't want to move everybody around. So, but I'll get it. I'll get your phone numbers and get somebody to call you guys tomorrow or something like that. Wouldn't be tonight. So, okay, let's get on into it. There is one other thing we're going to talk about here today. So we're going to look at oil. We're going to look at a few different things to kick off. And then Google is in talks with Marvell to build new AI chips at running models more efficiently. Google already created the TPU processing chip, which is what allowed it to leapfrog over all other models, right? It leapfrogged so fast and so far that other models have been spending about the better part of a year catching up, right? With because of the processing power that Google has. Now, I will tell you, there's a company that I think is even bigger than that we will talk about as well, right? So let's get on into the market section here. Let me do this. And so let's start over here with oil. And I'm going to plot, actually, you know what? Let's do this chart here. Oil. I'm going to start with, oh, I meant to, that to go there. Now, if you've been in my, if you're part of my Energy Watch newsletter, is anybody a part of that? Yes or no? Anybody a part of that letter? Yes or no? Okay, good. Good. If you're not, let me know. I'll send it to you. But one of the things that I did was I said, hey, you know, this is what move is what I see anticipating on oil, which is that I think that we, you know, at the time it was way up here. I think that we have a little bit of a rise. We pull back, we retest against the trend line, and then we push back down. Well, I didn't know what news was happening. I reiterated that this weekend and I talked about it because I knew it was going to look a little bit different because we broke this counter trend line. We broke this level of support. We're bounced back above, but we closed back above this level of support. And we're sitting right here right now. What I anticipate, and I'm going to redraw this for everybody. And if you want to take a screenshot, you can. There we go. Is I believe that oil prices rally back up and then they hit this trend line, something good happens, then we will eventually fall down here to $67.92. That's the move I'm playing for now, right? Thomas, if you're not a member, I'll send you the link here in just a second. Give me a second here. That's that. Oop. There you go, Thomas. So I just sent it. So, something good I think will happen. We're gonna have a great session. I got you're gonna be able to, you know, I'll wake up tomorrow, God willing, you know. So no, there's a lot good that's gonna happen. You like, I'm not afraid of anything. Volatility is good for me. I don't care. Right. I don't care if the market goes up. I don't care if the market goes down. Right. All I care is about my reaction to it. You know, I don't have emotion around like bad, what people perceive as bad news. I don't. There's just, there's good, there's bad, but it really just is, right? To have an estimated time frame. Dan, you know, I've had people ask me this before, the time frame thing. Because I'm not a psychic. I'm not, I can't tell you tomorrow's lottery numbers. I'm telling you what happens. I can't tell you when it happens, right? So, let's see. Let's see. Exactly, right? I don't control the time on it. I just control the opportunity. So let's go back here to oil really quickly. So oil, right? If we look at oil, this is the move that I anticipate. Let's take this down now to like a 5 minute time frame and let's talk about what we see. Well, here is that daily trend line way up here. That brings the price of oil per barrel, just in case you were wondering, we went from 84 to 88 at the market open before all of this other news hit, right? So we're looking for this to rally up. Oops. Rally up and then looking to push back up, right? Then looking to push back up. And we are in the back in the buy zone. We are looking for the buying opportunity. We are pushing up. So honestly, I see oil being back at around $99.04, right? $99.04 is where I see it. And if we look at like the NQ, we see the exact inverse move on the way down. Same goes for gold, right? Same goes for gold. Like over the last week, we saw gold really give us a massive rally here, all the way to 49.18. And I believe it was Dennis, right? I believe it was Dennis. Psychotic is what my wife says. I don't know if there's a difference, Priyanka. Priyanka said, "You're not a psychic. Are you sure?" So that's why I said psychotic. That's what my wife says anyway. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, so, look, I think it, I was talking about gold and I thought that, hey, we're going to see a breakdown. We're going to see this fall down further. And my long-term outlook on gold is actually back down into, I'm hoping this isn't the case, but back down into 3,200 range. Right now, if you are going to try to play like long-term options or something like that on this, what I would suggest is like use a counter trend line. And as long as the market is above the counter trend line, you're good to go, right? You're good to go. If it breaks the counter trend line, that's when you have to say to yourself, okay, self, is now the time for this thing to fall back down, right? We're still in a down AB boundary. We're still at a 5-0 pullback. We just need to wait for this pullback here, okay? Silver, yes, I do feel that silver will follow gold, not as volatile though, because, silver is still being used heavily in technology. But if we go down to like a smaller time frame here, and we look at silver, you can see 15-minute time frame from Friday on. Just look at the drop that we've had, right? I mean, Friday, let me do one quick thing with this system. This is actually a system that will be coming out for you guys. I'm making some more tweaks to it. I really do like what we built here, but Friday's close was at 81.90 and we're now down to $79.45 on silver. Okay. Couple of quick stocks that we need to do some check-ins on. One, Lululemon. Right, Lululemon, we are up. We've seen this back up to 167.28. Again, my targets are 233. Shorter term, we have some intermediary targets as well. That right in here at 169, right in here at 187. Right in here at 215, then 233. Then my long-term targets are 327 is the long-term target on Lululemon. Let's see. Lululemon close. Yes, in an independent study in Texas, they said that it has toxic chemicals. I mean, hell. The air has toxic chemicals. If you listen to Instagram, the only thing it's safe to eat is a bullet because you can't drink water because, water robs you of your minerals. You can't eat food, right? Because everything's bad. You can't like, I don't know what to eat anymore. If I had to stop, I've been off social media now for like, for the most part, I've been off for like the last 90 days or so because it's just gotten too crazy out there, right? If I want a hamburger, I'm gonna eat a hamburger. If I want to eat a salad, I'll eat a salad. I'm, eat my own words. I love that one. That there you go. That's probably the only thing safe that people will eat on Instagram. So I'm not following with all of that there, but there's some things that yes, I do believe in. Right now, one good thing about Lululemon. Let me get rid of a couple of these trend lines here. Are these support and resistance lines. One great thing about this is that we have broken that downward trend line and we've closed above it for several days. We broke above it, we retested it, and then we broke back above it. So I'm not too worried. And we'll still see some probably decent earnings and the turnaround continues. Same goes for Nike. Nike's another company that, like, look, it's a staple. Like, if you want to buy Nike at $46.03, by all means buy Nike at $46.03. Did the world quit playing sports? Right? Right? Did the world quit playing sports? Nope. They're still one of the biggest names in sport. Yes, they have a little bit less. They got, here's what happened to Nike, and people don't understand this. And I saw this coming, and I sold the fund we manage. I sold all the Nike positions because I said, a few years ago, because in like 2021, 2022, Nike CEO came out with this revolutionary new idea. Shoes would only be released in 3-month spurts. And then if it sold, they would keep selling it. And if it didn't, they would stop it. Well, the thing that made Nike great was these limited release drops. But if they keep the good shoe that sells around, it's not a limited release, right? It created that gray market opportunity for people, and people loved it. You had people that would wait in line for 8, 10, 12 hours for a pair of sneakers and then go sell them and make money. A friend of mine has a pair of tennis shoes that are worth $22,000. And I said, I could step in dog crap in those. I just wouldn't, never in my life would I do that. But that's just what they, there's that culture there. There's that subculture there for some individuals. And so with a company like Nike at $46.03, you have my absolute full faith that this is a great buying opportunity and that we can take advantage of this all the way back up as it's rally. Now, you're going to be holding it for some time. Don't ask me more. Don't ask me the word win. Look, I can tell you how to win, but I can't tell you when. I'm going to just tell you, right? This is actually going on my list. Okay. So NKE, I'm calling it now, 419.26, $46.03. Buy. Let's set some short-term targets here. We can go, let's see. I like this. 63. 63.50. Short-term target, long-term target. We're going to go 87.29. And I don't know how that didn't pick it up, but interesting. Oh, difference from current price. Current price is that. Okay. And we'll throw that math in there. So that is now on our radar. That's one of those that I love. And now, so we did Lulu. Let's go UNH. UNH had a great week and is still going to have a great week. We're sitting at $324. Probably we'll get to this 347 target. Look, I am fairly certain that we will see another pullback back to 280. So if you're in UNH, great. If you're not, totally understand. I've been in it since $230 a share. We took the ride up to 300 and something, took it back down, and we're going to take this next ride back up. And my long-term target on UNH is $580.79. Anybody still good in UNH? Yes or no? Good, fantastic. Keep holding it. 580.79. This is going to be a long-term target, or you can always get out, when we'll cover another short-term target in there at 378, but 347 fills this gap. So we're about $20 away from that. The only thing I'd say is that just watch the news in the morning and read news in the morning as well. If I see anything negative, I will try to remember to post about it. If we break this counter trend line, right, and we get fall to like 316, 315, then we're probably going to see it pull back down into this level, fill this gap at 284. That's where I'll add some more and take it up, right? I did take, for full disclosure, I took 25% of my shares off the table now. So I still have 75% of my position going. So that's UNH. Let's look at NTLA is still doing phenomenal. I told you guys to buy that at like $8. We had it at $8.99 was our call there. That's when I got into it. MSTY, which is, if you're not in that, that's actually, you can, this is the kind of the dividend yielding version of MSTR. It's a cheaper version, right? But you get paid a dividend a weekly, I believe it is, or is it daily? Thursday. Yeah, weekly on Thursdays, you get a dividend of 30 cents per share. Let me just repeat that, 30 cents a share. And the dividend, the cost of the company is $25.90. I have quite a few shares of this. The main company is MSTR, which is Michael Saylor's Bitcoin fund. And he's talking about another big buy and things going on there. Ultimately, I think this stock, if you get into it, it's going to head up to 124. Bitcoin is still going to be around. I actually was reading something and saw something on MSNBC briefly, and I'm looking for the article. So anybody finds it, let me know. But apparently, and I even hate to say this, one of the payments that Iran is going to be getting is going to be coming through Trump coins. So I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, but hey, there you go. That's all I'm going to say, right? So BK asked a great question. He said, hey, if oil goes to 67, why do you think gas will be more than $4 for so long? I think oil stays between 97 and 77 for the next year and a half. And here's the other thing is you got to remember oil, it's not just oil, right? It's refining that oil. It's shipping that oil. You see, one of the things, and I actually explained this in one of my Energy Watch videos, let me actually bring it up. If you join this newsletter, you're going to get access to this page, which has a lot of my old videos. Hold on. Where is it? There's a video I did on this month that I break down how oil is actually priced, because a lot of people don't know that there's the price we trade on our charts, but no one, the head of OPEC says that's just some random made up price that traders trade. There's the price to pull it out the ground. There's the price to ship it. There's the import fees, the taxes, the cost of fuel to ship it. And then there's a landed cost. Right now, the landed cost of oil per barrel is right around 170 or $180 per barrel. So it takes a number of weeks before that comes down. The other side of it is disruption in production. So with the Middle East and the pipelines being turned off over there, and refinement not happening, and shipping being slowed down and stopped, and then all of the bombing, you're messing with the infrastructure to get the oil to the ships. That's one. Well, let's say everything turns back on. We're down 20% of production has been down for 2 months. So now you have to, in order to make that 20% up, you need to produce, you can't just turn it on and add 20% immediately, because there's the months that we weren't producing that we're behind on. So you need to produce like 30% for 4 months in order to get back to level base. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Sorry about that, BK, but great question. And I think a lot of people, Didn't think about that. Wayne, there's definitely some companies. I'm going to be releasing those companies in the newsletter this week. I have a few. I just want to vet them and do some more analysis into them. So look for those to come this week. Yeah, the oil and gas infrastructure repair. So MSTY, again, I think short term 56, medium term 100 and 124 is where I'll drop probably the 75% of my position, and then I'll hold the last 25 for a long term, right? Especially if I'm getting good amount of dividends. 30 cents a share is pretty darn good. When you're at 20, you're basically making 12% a share, 15% a share, basically. So that's 1.5% return on per share, right? That's pretty darn good right there. So I'll take that all day. So reviews on MSTY and MSTR aren't good. You know what? Neither are the reviews on Disney, but let me tell you, go drive around that place for any time, see if they are hurting at all. But no, Keith, really, you got to understand. So if we go back to the Benjamin Graham and who was the person who taught Warren Buffett, right? I don't know if you know this or not. Warren Buffett, kind of a good investor and kind of a good trader. Don't know if you know that or not. But Benjamin Graham method was to buy good companies at cheap valuations. And one of the things he always talked about was when everybody is selling, that may be your time to buy. And when everybody is buying, that may be your time to sell. So, and I will tell you, I anticipate probably within the next 30 weeks, I believe that Bitcoin will start a new trend back up within the next 30 weeks. Okay. So that's what I will say to that. And in the meantime, why not buy a cheap company at a great price and get paid for it? Right. I mean, think about it this way. You're getting 30 cents a share, right? So 30 cents a share every week times four, that's $1.20 a month just to hold the thing, right? Times, if you could think about it, if you bought 1,000 shares every month, you're getting a free $1,200 in your pocket, right? Have a free $1,200 in your pocket. So, yeah, that's about the same time that I see it as well. To the person who said about Bitcoin, their comment. So let's run OKLO. OKLO, we saw a nice little spike up this week, but again, I think with everything going on, we're going to probably see a down couple of days. Market will fall back. 5408 is where you can buy this thing, but long term, I still think 186 is where this goes to. Not worried about it at all. Short term, look, if you buy now, buy at 53, add a little bit if it gets to 40, and then just take the ride back on up. That's how I'm playing this opportunity. This is one of those long-term stocks that I just want to be in. Let's look at Marvell, MV Marvell. And I mean, there's new Marvel movies coming out, so this is that stock, right? This is that stock, right? New Marvel movies. No, look, all-time high. Then you got this Google News. That's going to be phenomenal. But again, I think people are going to be worried about the tech play, especially around the straits are closed again. There's some gaps that this market's going to go after. It's just going to happen. So, I think there will be your kind of Monday, Tuesday play. And then I think long term back down to 80 before we see another rocket higher, right? I think we fill these gaps and then the market heads back up. 80 is where I want to see it. And that's where I'll say, give you the all is a go buy, but there's definitely some stops along the way that give us some opportunity to buy. So 122, 115, 99, 80, 31. That's where I see ultimately Marvell coming down to. Could it get as low as like 51? Yes, it could. But anything that moves parabolically like this, I mean, it's going to correct. Like
it basically went for a straight 85% run. That's going to correct. All right. Absolutely going to correct. SMCI is another one that, hey, I bought in here. We talked about this, buying it at 20, taking it up to 29. We'll probably see it pull back here to 26. If it does come down to 26, this will be a great buying opportunity to help then take it up to fill this gap. And then ultimately, SMCI, I think, hits 50 again, right? I don't think, we're not going to see it over the next like 6 to 12 months get up to 87. But I think 50 is in the cards before the end of the year. So I have both options on it, and I actually have options on SMCL, which is like a directional ETF. So this is a great way to play this. It's $2.61. They're going to be doing a 20-for-1 reverse split. That means, and that happens May 1st. Okay. So what that means is if you bought 200 shares, you're going to have 10 shares at $2 and then instead of it being $2.61, right? 2.61, divide that by 20. That's going to be multiply by 20, 2.61 times 20. It's going to be at $52 a share. So that's SMCL. Dividend is MSTY, Thomas. MSTY is the dividend. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep this rolling for just a little bit longer. We'll look at VCX. For those of you guys in that, it's sitting at 84, closed at 84.47. Again, long-term outlook on this is it's going to be back at 245, right? They hold way too many good companies. They have way too much opportunity, and their growth is going to be huge over time. But it's sitting at 83.27 at the close, and I think 240 is where it goes to. I think it just sits, we had a gap here that's 77. It filled that gap to a T. I tell people all the time, one of the simplest things you can do is look for gaps in the market based on certain timeframes and see if it fills them. And when it fills them, you'll be more often than not right. Okay. So this would be head up to 240. Let's see. Bloom Energy. I think Bloom Energy you're going to see a big, big correction. 207 down to 176, down to 136. Again, I am not a fan of the parabolic move. If you like that stuff, go play in the penny stock market but 100% return in what's this? 15 days. That is wildness. Now, granted, amazing technology they've uncovered. But anytime that we've done this, right, you've seen, look, here's a great example. Gap up, parabolic move, hold back. Gap up, parabolic move, hold back and filled it. Gap up, parabolic move, filled it. Gap up, parabolic move, filled it. Gap up, parabolic move, filled it. Gap up, parabolic move. Here we go. We're going to fill these two. It's going to happen. If you want to be in the way, I wouldn't. SanDisk. Quite honestly, I think this is going to have a big correction as well. Mainly because of the nitrogen and also manufacturing costs, also shipping costs, also all of the reasons above, I think that are going to affect this company in not a great way. right? And not a great way as well. Thank you so much for letting me know about the time. I'm keeping a watchful eye on this as well. There was a couple others. Hold on. Let's see. Sharon says, "How do I feel about the energy sector overall?" It really depends on like what part of the energy sector. I think anything that we can do based in the US is going to be good. First Solar, I think SpaceX will be good. I think OKLO, SMR, anything that can allow us to rely on us is going to be good. And then I also don't think that we get how do I put this? Uh Things set on a global stage where we rely on many different things, I think is going to be what gets corrected, right? We are not far off, and we're actually already seeing it, where some countries will trade oil in Chinese yuan and some countries will trade oil in dollars. We're not too far off from the US being a major exporter of LNG, and that'll be traded in dollars, but that will only have specific trading partners for that. And North America, the kind of continent of North America and even most of South America, that will be integral to be a kind of singular say this. I believe that the countries in the North American and South American hemisphere, actually, I'll say North American and Mesoamerican hemisphere, will act with like a singularity. That will be where things are primarily traded, where things are primarily manufactured, where things happen, right? That's one of the things that I'd say. Okay. So technically it already is based on gold. NextEra Energy, yep, that's another good one. They have earnings this week as well. I think we'll see a nice, rally out of NextEra. It'll mainly look for the guidance on it though. Like if they have poor guidance, then I think that we won't see as big of a rally, and I think we see a correction. But after this move, there's no real gaps. It's done nice movement. We're just been capitulating here, right? I haven't seen anything to tell me to sell it, but I haven't seen anything to tell me to buy it. I do anticipate my short-term target is 93.67. So if we get it, a couple dollars higher, great. I see, a 93.67 is the mark I want to go for. In there. Yeah, right in here. Sorry, 93.85. So about $2 worth of movement up. So earnings should be pretty good. Right. So and then I build myself an extra 5 minutes, right? And then let's see. Last one, Charter Communication. That's actually one of we called Charter really low, like down in the 180s low. Then it took a massive rally up. I still wanted to see it fill this gap. I still want it to fill that gap. I do believe it will fill that gap before it is all said and done. And then from there, I actually didn't even fill that D extension right there, did we? So I still think we fill this gap down here at 191. But for where we are on the short term, if we plot fibs, 291 is my long-term target on Charter. I'm not getting rid of this. Long-term, 380 is there, right? 380 is there. So I look for Charter. We called Charter around 180-ish. 380 is where I think it goes. And then I think it just continues to rally from there. So with that, guys, I know today was a little more pressed for time than normal. We had wild amount of news. I hope you guys got some value out of today's presentation. I appreciate all of you being here. And let's see. Wayne, what's your question? Maybe do an iron condor. Wayne, when it comes to options, how you enter the trade, Wayne, is all on you, right? I'm not going to tell you do a credit spread, a debit spread, a triple backflip, bullfrog spread. I ain't going to tell you to do nothing, none of that. That one is all on you, okay? And so what my job is to do is I'm going to give you the analysis on the underlying asset, right? And then you can go from there. Now, if you're zero DTE in it, look for a gap down in QQQ, gap down in SPX, gap downs in everything. Probably going to go from these all-time highs back down into these 589s, right? So over the next week, I anticipate this being down here at another 9.37% drop or so, right? Long term, I still think that we're going to be in a world of hurt over in the next few months, but hey, that's why you have myself to help you, guide you, and help you guys manage any assets that you have. If you want help with that, type in your phone number right now. I'll have my team reach out and they'll set up an appointment with you and myself. And if you've already typed in your phone number, you're good to go. I'll screenshot that. If you haven't, now's the time to do so. And I will see you guys in a webinar very soon this week, I'm sure. So with that, guys, I thank you all. I got to jump to my other meeting. Wayne, I got your number as well. And everybody else who has typed in their phone number, I got yours as well. And I will leave that to you guys. Thank you guys so much. Vicky, thank you. I owe you a call, Vicky. We got another big appointment on Monday, and then Tuesday onward should be free. So, and you know exactly what appointment I'm talking about. So, perfect. So, all right, guys, have a good one. I'm going to end this, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.